Hi, guys. Just a bit of context before we begin this show. You will notice that we break into ridiculous laughter at several points in the show when one of us mentions the word "bobia." Now, let me explain this because in the TK chat, which we have on Facebook, Alex had very recently misspelled the word baby. Don't ask what he was talking about, but he misspelled the word baby with an e in the end. So he spelled it Babye, and me and Butch made it into a running joke that that's how Russians pronounce the word baby, babia, babia. And we thought it was hilarious. I understand if you don't, but it just became a running thing, and we mentioned it in several, possibly too many times in this episode. In any case, enough of this explanation. On with the show.
I'm on a high, there's nothing more to it. We are the sea and the sky and the blue that runs through it, yeah. And there are some who say there are so many things I need. So I run or I fight and I crawl or I scream and I bleed, I bleed, I bleed. It's a lie, don't you believe it?
I'm sending you my hands grasping it. That's what's happening right now.
God damn it! I've been
I love
recording
you.
for 5 days,
love you.
guys.
I love you, but damn.
But
I
yeah,
just started recording.
but yeah,
Yeah.
Tovarish, but yeah.
Oh goddamn. Okay, let's start.
All right, Lex, there's a link
Yes.
on the chat. I need you to have that open. All of you actually have that link open because we're gonna alternate asking questions.
Okay. But yeah.
But yeah.
Bubia, what the fuck?
Yes,
What the
yes.
fuck was that? Was someone trying to be Russian and French at the same time?
Russian.
Fuck you!
I feel like I should be doing this. But
That's Butch's best Linka from the Planeteer.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna do this with a beer.
might be better.
Yeah.
So
You have more
I'm getting a
wind.
beer.
Wind!
Son of a bitch, I'm getting a beer.
Wind.
Heart!
This is hopeless. Whoa. Crack yourself up.
Because the guy's so worthless. What's his name? Mati?
Mati.
Mati.
I can feel the sadness of the forest as it burns behind him.
Could he, like, secretly be the most powerful one? Say one of those dudes.
No, he cannot control animals. He can only talk to them.
Oh, good lord.
Fucking Mati.
They're calling me a loser.
Yes, I think EJ went away. He just left.
Jesus. That's rude.
Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah, Isha.
EJ absolute.
Sorry, I have to give me a few minutes. I just have to get the dogs. They got out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Just- Who let the dogs out, Lex?
This is
I imagine.
a great
yeah.
start to the episode.
I like to imagine him. He's now running down the street, wrangling dogs with a rope. Whoop you, whoop you.
Is it sad that all the Russian I know comes from Colossus?
I only know Tovarish and Comrade. And Niet.
Yeah, and da, Professor.
Mm-hmm. And
We can't
Professor.
keep-
Yeah. And Katya.
Can we keep this story?
What's Katya?
Katya's his love.
Isn't that a name?
Yeah.
Yeah. The love of Colossus, Katya.
Katya
That's what
Santos.
he calls
Katya
certain something cat. Kitty
Katya.
Pride. There you go.
Katya Santos, Papier.
My
Wait, does he
Bobby.
actually call her Katya or?
Yeah, Katya. right?
Anyway, okay. Way to change my name, right?
J.
Now it's like I don't think that shit would fly. Dudes changing chicks' names just because you're from another country. No, it's not.
Your Russian name would
You're
be J.
maybe.
Avzilyasovich.
I've seen these.
Yeah,
That's not bad. I like it.
right?
Hmm.
I
Something like
like it.
that.
Okay.
Fucking
All right.
Alex. Do you know? Each, do you know where Alex went? He left because his dogs got out.
This dude. I'm imagining right now. I'm
Uh,
imagining Alex chasing a Great Bernard,
a
fucking
Great Bernard. That's a
Scooby-Doo,
combination
Wow.
of a Saint Bernard
and a
and a Great
Chihuahua.
Dane.
Dang, that's
It's
big.
like three. Alex has three dogs.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or a Great Bernard, a Great Dane, and a fucking Chihuahua.
All right, I think we can begin this actually.
yeah.
Yep.
Welcome everyone to a special episode of the Trash Comic Caros. We're a full house tonight, except for Migs, who's apparently busy with work. He's been really busy lately, but somebody else who's been really
Uh,
busy is Alex, who's currently wrangling dogs on the street. This is a
and I'm busy
special.
drinking beer.
This is a special Q&A episode where you listeners of the show have sent us in some very interesting queries here, and we will deal with them for you shortly. My name is John. I'll be your host for you this evening. With me are EJ,
Hello, hello. Greetings.
Bitch,
What's up, everybody?
and Alex. He's still in the Disney. I like to imagine he's wrangling them with ropes.
It's a
For
cowboy.
you,
With
first time.
shirtless.
Yeah,
Shirtless.
shirtless.
In like hot pants, shorts, jeans
Mm-hmm.
type thing. Like his Daisy Dukes.
That's his
That's
image
what
book.
he's.
This is image book. Shirtless Dog Wrangler #1. For those of you listeners new to the show, Trash Comic Carols is the #1 comics discussion podcast in the Philippines. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podcast Republic. And to make Butch happy, you can join discussions on our Facebook group. Just search for Trash Comic Carols with a K. Trash Comic Carols.
Cut. Cut. Okay, that's a
I'm sorry.
cut sound.
Yeah, but got some
No.
questions like I mentioned. But each, you said you wanted to make a news wrap up, or actually just one big item. You mentioned something earlier.
Yeah, well, it's something that we already all know at this point. By the time you're hearing this, it's been a while. But yeah, before we begin, I'd like to um, say, I guess, rest in peace to one of the greatest icons of superhero pop culture. Adam West passed away a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and well, maybe a week ago, maybe just like around maybe 5 or 6 days ago. And I think maybe to some of you reading, you probably grew up watching this stuff too. I know his Batman was already several decades ago, but they still kept showing it through the years. A lot of us still grew up watching this version of Batman. The Bright Knight was the first Batman for many, even for generations to come. I remember watching that show and just believing that this is what superheroes were like. I mean, you're a kid and you're like this guy, the whole old chum and the bam kapow um, effects that would grace the screen. I mean, that was all very cool to me. I loved the Batmobile. I loved that extremely cheesy set of a Batcave.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
love the bat phone,
I love the bat phone. Oh, the bat phone was amazing.
the
I thought
hotline.
the bat phone was amazing every time. The hotline, yeah, hotline to Commissioner Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that he wasn't so brooding. It's like he was bright night or the day night. He wasn't just showing up during the nighttime. Making people believe that he was just a myth. He was just as much a symbol of hope and justice as Superman was. It was a, I think it was a really awesome thing what Adam West gave us. I feel for his family and for everyone that was a fan.
Indeed.
So rest in peace.
Hmm.
What do you guys think of Adam West?
I was never really a huge fan of the show per se, but later on when I found out that excuse me, when I found out that his career was actually not doing great, like he was never a big star per se outside of
Mm-hmm.
Batman. But what I know about Adam West is that even at Comic Cons later on in his career, he was always very gracious with fans about his work as Batman, and this is like 20 years after he had donned the
Yeah,
cape and
exactly.
cowl. But he was always very good natured about his work, despite being quote unquote typecast. It really seemed like he was very appreciative of the things he had done and the things that fans thought of about
Yeah,
him.
it's like he loved that part of his life. You know, there's some
Exactly.
actors that shy away from the fandom and the culture that surrounds this, but man, he was very much a part of it. He was very much like Mark Hamill in that regard.
Correct.
He really embraced being Batman on and off the screen, and it was awesome. He gave so much.
Yeah,
He gave so much to that life.
I agree. And to that
Um,
point, I admire because I can't find it within myself. I admire people with boundless positivity, and it really seems
yeah.
like Adam West was that kind of person. What about you, Butch? Got anything to say?
I'm trying to compare who was hotter, the Lee Merriweather Catwoman or the Julie Newmar Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation just sparked a totally different thing for you.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, that was also another thing that was beautiful about that time. That those cat women were quite fine.
Man.
Fine
Mm-hmm.
felines, man. They're quite, yes, quite hot. I can imagine Adam West at the time. Oh no, not imagine. We know. Oh, we really know.
Mm.
This guy got a lot of tail.
Oh, really?
Not just from Catwomen. No, dude, you know how popular the show was? The show was like amazingly popular. It was like a hit on TV. I thought it was the number one show over everything.
Ooh.
That's how popular Adam West Batman was.
And this is
It was
when
amazing. It was a huge hit.
EJ was like, in his teens, and a new episode would come out, just newly filmed. But yeah, if there's nothing else we can say about Adam West, I'm just gonna say thank you for everything, and may he enjoy climbing to heaven
Mhm.
on a
May they
bat rope.
actually finally make shark repellents.
Right, right,
May
absolutely.
that be a thing.
All right, so let's jump into some questions here from
All right, let's
our
do this.
avid listeners. The last time we did one of these was exactly 25 episodes ago. So I want to make this a yearly thing where we do it every, like I
Ah,
said, 25. We might do it on episode 75 again, or at least
okay.
25 episodes from now. Let's skip this first one for now because it's game related, and I want to be able to ask it of Alex when he gets here.
If
So
he
the
gets
first
here.
question, the first if he gets here, yeah, if he if he hasn't been torn apart by wild dogs at this point. First
Oh my
question
gosh.
is from Paul Crooks. If
Mm.
given the opportunity, what are your best comic book movie pitches?
Okay. Yeah. You made us think about this because
Yeah,
probably thinking about this on the spot would have been
right.
impossible. It's
Best
one of
comic
those
book
things,
movie
and then you
pitches.
get us an assignment, and then okay, oh, I have something.
Hmm.
Okay, but best elevator pitch. Okay.
Sure.
Who wants to start?
Butch. Let's have Butch go ahead.
Yeah, go,
You guys
Bush.
start because I didn't read this one.
Uh, all right.
So now you're thinking, okay, I'm really curious what Bush comes up with in a few minutes
Right.
or a few
The
seconds.
heat is
Okay,
on.
my elevator pitch. Imagine movie
Oh, oh
starts.
shit.
I'm back.
It's the funeral. Oh, are you back?
All right,
Is
Lex.
Alex
Hey,
back?
hi, Lex.
Sorry, Age.
Okay. Okay, so imagine we start. It's the funeral of Harry Osborn,
Oh,
Green Goblin,
I'm in.
family of Peter Parker, the Osborns, uh, the Watsons, who knows who, are close by. It's a closely knit group, and although Parker and Osborn at this point in their lives were fighting, they eventually and they were always what do you call struggling with that part of themselves, being longtime friends, but at the same time, really like very much like the Harry and Peter of the previous not the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like uh, struggling with the fact that they're friends but enemies at the same time. So this is where our story begins, and our hero struggles with this fact and wants to quit Spider-Man for a while because it's not fun dying. Mary Jane is stressed. Everyone's sad. But being true to himself, there's trouble downtown, and Spider-Man comes in to save the day. Apparently, Carnage is broken out of prison. Now he has Shriek in tow, and they're killing people. At the end of this battle, Spider-Man falls off a building and cracks his ribs. So
The end?
throughout this whole
Oh.
story, no, not the end. Wow, you're so excited. Spider-Man. Thank you for that. So now throughout this movie, Spider-Man has broken ribs. And he has trouble. He has to get help from a few people while he searches for Carnage and Shriek in their quest to kill as many New Yorkers as possible. So here comes Cloak and Dagger, who help
What?
Spider-Man out of his alley. Yes, Cloak and Dagger are in this, Butch. And
I'm
like I
in.
said, I mean, you
I'm
would
out.
really like, I think, how Cloak and Dagger are drawn here. I think especially Dagger looked quite good.
I'm so in.
Um, and they end up clashing once again with Carnage's crew, now composed of the Spider Doppelganger, who's this really insane Spider-Man looking creature with sharp teeth and six arms, right?
Mhm.
So it's very much a product of the time of the 90s. And eventually Venom comes in to help Spider-Man in their hunt for Carnage's new family. So yes, my pitch, if you've already guessed, is Maximum Carnage.
Mm.
But I would definitely like to do away with some of the edginess of this. All the at the time, this was quite dark. This is such a dark story. Spider-Man was always sad, always whining, doesn't know, if he's doing the right thing. Maybe he should quit because Mary Jane is suffering because of all his battles with his villains. Harry Osborn just died, friend and villain at the same time.
Sure.
And it's also at a time when they're competing with Image. Marvel's competing with Image and trying to be edgy, whatever. Venom is an anti-hero at this point. Um, and yeah, he's trying to help Spider-Man. Now Mary Jane is freaking out that Eddie Brock is sleeping on his couch. They're recuperating from their last fight. And he's you encounter scenes like this. So there's a lot of conflict within the group, and of course the fight scenes can be incredibly amazing. It even involves some other freaking killer personalities like Morbius the Living Vampire,
Mm.
Carrion, another sick member of this evil Carnage crew. I mean, it was at the time, as a child, you're reading this in Carnage going on a killing spree with these guys, and Spider-Man seemingly uh, totally overmatched and overwhelmed. What does he do in the face of this? A lot of story points at the time. It's a much maligned, story. It's to some, it's infamous because again, a product of the '90s, trying too hard to be edgy and grim. But I think a revamped vision of this with current Spider-Man. What's his name? Help me out.
Dan
Um,
Slott. Oh, the
so the
actor?
current guy playing,
Tom
yeah, the
Holland.
actor, Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom
Hello.
Holland, with his wisecracks, hot May in this, maybe even Tony
Hot me.
Stark helping
Mm,
out. Then I mean, maybe Sony and Marvel figures out their squabbles and they actually allow Spider-Man and Venom to show up in the same movie.
sure.
And it might be possible at this point because now they're making Venom have his own movie, so maybe he's like an anti-hero in that one.
Okay.
We don't know. So maybe it's quite possible for Spider-Man and Venom to be working together. Then they're already doing Cloak and Dagger, the series. If that's a hit, throw them into the mix. I think it could be quite a successful, what do you call this, venture.
All right. I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, of course you
Lex, to reiterate,
do.
the question is, if given the opportunity, what are your best comic book movie pitches? Now, I have a few ideas for this, and some of them I might do as stories of my own. So I'm just gonna do the obvious one. I would I would give a Legion of Superheroes pitch,
Of
in
course.
which
Mm.
focusing on Brainiac and his two closest friends, possibly Chameleon Boy and Triad or Triplicate Girl.
Karate Kid. Ah.
But it's gonna be
Yeah, of course you had to put which girl?
Triad.
Ah.
So it's gonna
Okay, those are your
focus.
favorite characters?
My favorite is Chameleon Boy. The three of them joining some sort of a defense academy for the UP, which is the United Planets,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
would focus on them creating some sort of peacekeeping force. But I want them to be young, like in their 20s in this. So it'll sort of feel, because it's gonna be, if any of you have read Legion, it's got some romance and some drama in it, but it's also got its fair share of action. So my elevator pitch would be, think of it as Riverdale mixed with the Justice League, and all the powers are gonna be very unique. But for the first movie, I would want them to, like I said, to focus on Brainiac, Cam, and Triad, meeting all the other students who are already well on their way to becoming superheroes, like Ultra Boy and Saturn Girl, and they're a little older than our main crew. But that's essentially how I want it to feel. It's gonna be a romantic comedy, but in a superhero burrito set in the future. Yeah, I'm not gonna reveal the story arc I want to do, but that's essentially how it would feel. Very, very hip and teeny bopper, I guess. That's my Legion pitch.
Nah,
Mm-hmm. What about you, Butch?
I'd watch that.
I still don't have anything. I think, can I cheat? I really want to see a
All right, cheater.
Metal Gear Solid movie.
Oh,
Yay!
And
sounds
I
like a
think
comic book.
that's true. Um, I think they've been, I don't know, I think they've been trying to get that going, but it hasn't, I don't know why it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I like a
Because
good,
it's a video game.
how you have movies like um, John Wick or Liam Neeson's Taken movies where it's like it's just one man, and
One
he has
man.
like a simple mission, like kind of like a
Work.
Simple
throwback
mission.
kind of action movie. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
Like
those
Commando.
things are kind of in vogue right now. So that kind of maybe adapt the first Metal Gear. Oh, sorry, Metal Gear Solid. That was a really good one.
All
And
right.
yeah, that's it.
Okay, I accept
Lex?
it. I'd like to see that
Mm-hmm.
too.
Well, if I'm gonna pitch a movie, it's probably something that has to make lots of sales, and
Ideally, that's how movies work.
yeah, most people would appreciate superheroes fighting each other. So maybe a modern version of Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm. Butch has a boner right now.
Secret Wars
That's
versus Wonder Woman.
yeah.
Sales.
That's
Mhm.
probably it.
Or
So
DC versus Marvel.
or an
Lord.
amalgam movie.
Amalgam.
Oh
All
lord.
right. Before we
Yeah.
proceed to the next
Well,
question,
man, if they do make Marvel versus DC, and this time, actually think about it and not just leave it to the fans to vote who would win.
DC
yeah,
would
Because
win.
that's
that's what
true.
they did. They
That's
left
true.
it to fans to vote who would win.
Absolutely.
That's how who won those fights. I'm really happy though that Batman and Captain America, that was my favorite. Nobody won.
They
I'd watch that
kissed.
movie,
They
definitely.
kissed.
This is
Jesus.
from cover artist of many various publishers. Super talented girl, Rian Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Her question, she asks, which recently announced video game are you guys most enthusiastic about, and which games, based on their trailers, don't seem promising? Haha.
Lex,
What you're asking me?
we're
Uh,
asking everybody.
Well, she's asking
um,
us.
well,
Yeah.
on Shadow of the Colossus, it's a remake.
God damn
It's
it,
Yeah.
not a
that's my
it's
answer.
That's
it's
my
not it's
answer
a
too.
screw you
God damn
guys.
it.
You asked me first, so
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'll give it to you then, Sige.
Okay.
Oh,
If I'm based on the trailers, um, other than that, it's probably the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they
God damn it.
retain the same gameplay that they are showing us right now.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Here we
Quick time
go.
events.
I
But
won't go into details, but
sure.
other than that, yes. Which one is don't seem promising? The Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy fishing game.
Anthem. You're about to say Anthem.
No,
Oh.
Sorry,
not
what did
not
you
not
say?
Anthem. They announced a Final Fantasy fishing game. Um,
Mm.
at
FFFG.
least,
What?
Horizon Zero Dawn, they have a new DLC, the Frozen, was it something Wasteland?
Mm.
It's like a new chapter in the game, so they're more of
Okay.
expanding it. But Final Fantasy fishing game, I
FFFG.
expected more. Yeah,
Each.
That doesn't sound great at all.
but it's VR,
Yeah,
so
I'm trying. What do you
Ooh.
call? Oh no, I'm definitely really excited about what do you call this? The Amazing Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the symbol in his chest is white, but I guess it pops more. But man, the gameplay in that looks like, I mean, sure, we've had an open world Spider-Man game before that was amazing. That was Spider-Man 2. But now it's like it's not just button mashing fight scenes. There's some creative fight elements here, using Spider-Man's zany fight style and his webs and everything. And it looks really good. I mean, Spider-Man. Alex would say that
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, it's just E3. They're marketing this. It's not
of
gonna look as good.
course it's
If
E3.
it looks if it looks 90% as good, I would still be impressed.
All right. What about something you're not as excited about?
Mm, I am not as excited about anything for the Switch. I
Huh?
don't.
Ooh.
I mean,
How
I'm
about
really
Mario
disappointed
Rabbids?
because no, I'm not really into Mario. What do you call this anymore?
EJ hates fun.
Uh, I would say you hate fun. Um, No, but seriously, I mean, it's like there's a lot. This is what they've been doing for a long time already. Okay, Zelda came out, Mario. Okay, I mean, that's it. Is that all that Nintendo is?
Pokemon.
I mean, you create a pretty good system that can do uh, quite a number of things, but I still have yet to see something that is gonna make this system worth having for years to come. Not just for a few months that you're playing Breath of the Wild, which I really want to play, but it's just one game. I really want to play a whole bunch of stuff for the PS4.
That's fair.
So I mean, like I'm just like really disappointed with the Switch right now.
Butch.
I am not really into video games. I will say that when I saw the Shadow of Colossus, the remake, I looked up at
Mm-hmm.
the old Shadow of Colossus, the original one, and
Mm.
that thing was so technically advanced that
Yeah, for the
if you
PS2,
squint,
right?
it's not too big a difference. So that was really cool. That studio, whatever that studio was,
But
they
I'm
made a
yeah,
pretty good game.
Blue Point.
Okay.
They're doing
I'm
the remake.
excited about that too.
Yeah,
There
Blue
you go.
They
Point.
did the HD of Metal Gear Solid as well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that Spider-Man trailer. It was fairly impressive. As Alex mentioned, I think we're all excited about Shadow of the Colossus. But I really like the Metro Exodus trailer. I have never played Metro or Last Light or whatever those things are, but this is gonna be a
Mm.
post-apocalyptic first-person shooter. That's my jam, and
Hmm.
it's got monsters and shit, so I'm in.
And they're all in Russian accents the whole time,
Oh yeah,
which
but
is, quite
But yeah.
unique. Quite unique for
Yeah.
a shooter.
oh, okay. So I'm also
Nobody even knows what we're doing.
the thing I'm not super excited about is actually Anthem because I could not get into the hype of Destiny. Now I know that's bordering on blasphemy, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into that jam, and it looks like more of the same, really. So I mean, it looks great. It's just story-wise, it looks like more of the same. I could be proven completely wrong, but it just didn't
But
grab
it's
me.
not the same because they're not the same studio.
Yeah, but I'm saying the trailer made it feel like it's more of the same. I'm just judging it completely on the trailer.
Alright.
Right?
I mean, I
It's
just saw
actually
one.
designed as a counter for Destiny.
Hmm.
They did mention that it's like their answer to Destiny. So it's like a platform where they will keep on adding stuff for you to play for years to come.
Interesting.
I'm just
I
really
like that.
curious how the gameplay is gonna be. Because the gameplay looks really amazing. The visuals are really. I'm just coming into that from that standpoint. Story is really important for me,
Yeah.
in a game. But
Sure.
man, this is one game I might just okay, screw that. I don't care. I just want to play a few hours of this. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know what that's like, But if the game, all the reviews are actually good, I'll probably just outright buy it.
Yeah.
Kim Angelo Limjenko.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? Alright. Who among the hosts do you think would best survive a zombie apocalypse, an alien invasion, a Terminator assault, Rise of the Machines, and a Predator deathmatch? This is quite complicated. There's four. Do we have to, or do we choose one?
I think we all.
Because I mean, all of these seem to be like in a very similar vein, because we're being attacked by this impossible mess, zombie, alien. Why don't we pick one each?
Okay. You do A. Yeah. You do A. Butch does B. I do C, and Alex does D.
Okay,
He likes doing the D
okay,
after all.
all right. So, um, who do you think would best survive a uh, zombie apocalypse? I think maybe Alex would best
Bullshit.
survive a zombie.
Bullshit. You seen my house?
Why? Why?
he just he just wrangled dogs, man.
Oh,
Ah, that is
wait,
impressive.
I don't hear dogs anymore. Maybe he just let them go.
Maybe
he
killed
just
them.
ate them, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
because he
That's.
ate them. It's like he becomes one with the zombies. He just acclimatizes
All right. All right.
with
Whatever.
them. No, I mean no, but I just feel like Alex has these survival instincts. After
Mm-hmm.
years of reading horror comics and stuff like Scalped and shit, I think he's learned a few things from that.
All right.
Scalped.
I can take
Okay, thanks,
Alex.
Age.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, see,
I'm
be
scrappy.
thankful.
I might be the tiniest one, but I'm
Okay, but
scrappy.
it followed by uh, yeah,
No.
probably John, because John could probably just cook anything out of anything,
Thanks for the
so
consolation
he'd be
prize.
surviving. Yeah,
I
I
beat
could,
you.
I think John could like whip shit together, whip shit up together, to
Bob, yeah,
what do you
John.
call this? To just keep surviving,
I can
I
cook
mean.
burgers now.
Anyway,
Does he become a cannibal eventually? I don't know.
I've told
And
you
then followed
before.
by Butch and then me.
Okay. Butch,
I die. I just die.
Your turn, Butch. B.
An alien invasion, I would say the nerdiest one of us all. That would be John. Do I hear any rebuttals? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Nerdiest.
Why does it
First
need
of
to be the
all,
Why?
nerdiest
Why?
one?
Why?
okay. First of all, you have to talk to the aliens, right? And who
Sure.
loves Arrival so much
Mm-hmm.
that he has to always mention it? This
Mm-hmm.
guy.
That's true.
John is like
He's like
has his
Jeremy
own
Renner.
alien Rosetta Stone at this point.
I do
Yes, he's the
have pet.
Jeremy Renner of TK. Yes.
I do have pet canaries.
Okay. Okay.
But if
Uh,
it's any kind of like, like an attack kind of invasion, or any physical thing, I think EJ would be would be the one we'd give the gun to EJ and John would have the mic.
I'd have the diplomatic
burp.
mission.
Yeah.
I'll burpee my way out of there, man. I'll just keep doing burpees on my way out.
Okay. C is mine. Who do I think among the hosts would survive? Let's just say who among the hosts present, all right, would survive a Terminator Rise of the Machines assault. Uh,
I said
honestly,
you.
I think it would still be me who'd survive this because
Oh,
in
wow.
Terminator.
The
Now
head
listen,
on this guy.
listen.
Bullshit.
I have a justification. I have a justification. In Terminator 3, John Connor was intentionally living off the grid so that Skynet couldn't find him. EJ is a CEO of a gym. He's like the grittiest person here. Alex has a business that he runs with his wife. Butch, are you on the grid? I'll say you're on the grid because you're a responsible citizen. I am not on the grid,
Are
as
you
far
sure?
as you guys know. You cannot find me. I swear to God. So
Look
I'll say
outside your
I
window.
it's you. Bob you! I knew my dogs got out. All right, so that's it. That's my answer for a Rise of the Machines assault. Lex?
Okay, mine
hide.
is who would survive a predator death match.
Like a 1v1?
Yeah, it's like
Also, this
it's
is
like in the
Predator
first
Deathmatch.
movie,
Okay, I'm dead. Like my spine is already in
probably
his
Butch.
hand.
because he's as big as Arnold.
Well, what about you?
And his name rhymes with Dutch.
Yeah,
Ah,
Dutch Mappa.
that's a good reason.
Come on, do it.
Yeah, I would have been like that Mexican or Indian guy. Was he a Native American or
Sure.
someone? One of them.
Mm-hmm.
No, he just gets his knife out, and
I
just
like wrestling.
waits
Jesse
for
Ventura's in
the
that.
damn thing. I'll be like, come at me, bro, come at me, you ugly son of a brat.
And Alex is Danny Glover from Predator 2. Butch is Dutch.
Hmm.
I am practically Topher Grace from Predators. So I would be the first. He would use my
So-
spine as a weapon.
But yeah.
Actually,
Who am I?
you are the girl predator from AVP. Because you're pretty. You're pretty enough.
There you go.
Oh,
Mm.
oh, thank you.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Azilius versus Predator.
EJVP. Okay. Lex. Oh no. Who hasn't asked one? Yeah, Lex. Yours
Me.
is from Carlo.
which one? If you're a cactus, or
You were a cactus.
What
Why?
is that about? What is that
I have
about?
because
no-
there's
it's
a
a-
question here. Question for John. If you were a cactus, why?
Oh no,
Just why?
just answer it.
Okay, he has a more serious
Marmalade.
question.
Okay.
From Carlo Jose Garcia. Serious question. Which villain would be a great hero, and which hero would be a great villain? Why?
God damn it.
All right, I got quick answers for this. Which villain would be a great hero? Doctor Doom, because he is
He's certainly
already
a hero.
he's already the hero in his own mind, and he runs a
God.
country quite well.
Mhm.
So despotic methods aside, he's already a hero in my mind. Which hero would be a great villain? Batman. That's the premise of Nemesis. He's very rich. He's very smart. He's super bored. Why not be a villain?
Hmm. Mine is a great villain who could be a hero is Magneto
Damn it.
Magneto.
because Magneto because he's a great leader. And which hero would be a great villain? It's Wolverine from. It's basically enemy of the state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm,
I got nothing.
sound good.
Come
Go
Sound
on.
good.
EJ.
Um, a villain that would be a great hero.
Oh, I got one.
Uh,
Okay.
Steal by
oh,
Scottie Pippen.
I'm, I'm trying to
Ooh.
be what do you call this creative here, but okay, the easy one that's popping into my head is Lex Luthor.
I like it.
Lex
Oh shit, that's
Luthor.
good.
Lex Luthor
I like it.
manages a whole ton of companies. He knows how to make money just as well as Bruce Wayne. Um, and well, his methods would be a little more
Bald.
uh, straightforward, brutal, call what you may. But this guy would be right up there with Iron Man. I mean, he already has. Although I just really wish he would stop doing that thing where just
Super
his
suit.
head is showing up and that's it. You know, he has the super suit, but his head is always exposed. Like, I mean, oh wow, what is up with that, man? I mean, if he just manages to, just get besides himself, manage to do away with his ego, that was a little impossible because that guy is all ego.
Mm-hmm.
But being said, he's got a lot of research down. He knows about magic, space. What do you call this technology? I mean, it's one smart son of a bitch. As far as heroes go, which hero would make
A
for
great villain.
a great villain? Oh shit, man! A lot of them would make for uh, great villains. But I think uh, a shocking one would be the Flash.
Hmm.
I don't, they've never done that. I mean, imagine the Flash corrupted somehow by the Speed Force, and he's this he's almost like Kingdom Come, where he's like just everywhere at once. So I mean, uh, infamous Superman is at that level of like omnipotence, right? And they took so much to bring him down. So imagine this kind of a Flash that's just so fast and you know
He's God.
with his mind broken. He's practically God.
Yeah.
You know that would be insane.
Hmm.
Butch.
My hero who would be a cool villain would be Zatanna because she looks really cool, and I mean I don't know. It feels like I don't know anything much about her, but she's so powerful. She's like overpowered that I guess I feel like they have to find ways for her to not just destroy like the villain right off the gates. So yes, like I want her. I want to see her as a villain, and then she could really cut loose with her powers. And for a hero could be
Just
wait
put
no
duct tape on her mouth and it's done.
for a villain
It's
who
true.
could be sorry.
Can cover
Just
her
put
mouth.
duct tape on her mouth and we're done. I
What? Well,
think a lot of guys can figure out how to shut her up.
Can you
shut
do
up.
sign
I don't.
language in reverse? Is that possible?
Oh, that'd be a
Go
good
I
on.
don't
one.
think I've ever seen that done, but I wonder. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Go on, Butch.
Maybe.
And well, I was gonna say Magneto, so whatever. Magneto.
Okay.
Hmm.
I know Zatanna's
And we already
weakness.
know why.
Aside from
What's her
covering her
weakness?
mouth, her weakness is palindromes.
Why?
You can't say a word in reverse if it already reads the same way forwards and backwards.
But aren't you always saying it in reverse?
Missing.
Then she has no power over
Or
that
all the
word.
power?
Or maybe.
Anyway,
There's a
why would
Was
story
that
there.
ever?
what's a palindrome anyway that would be useful in a fight? I don't even know.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Tit. All right, I'm gonna answer this question myself because I'm the only one who plays this game. From Gleb, shut up.
Oh my
From
god.
from Gleb DePio, which comic book hero would work as an Overwatch character? Uh, I would say now the three of you don't play this game.
I do.
You do? No, you don't.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, you do have it. What? Oh yeah, on your PS4. Uh, because with the current meta, I'm so annoyed with Farah, the flying hero, the only one flying with rockets. I would say I would love Iron Man to be in the game because he would be
Mm.
a hit scan hero like Soldier 76 and McCree, except he can fly just as much as Farah, or better than Farah, and actually shoot her out of the sky. And her Iron Man's ultimate ability for me would be his same ultimate ability from Marvel superheroes, which is the giant proton cannon, just to kill everybody within line of
Yes.
sight. He'll be like hit scan Hanzo ult, if that makes sense to any of you listeners.
No, what do you call this? Maybe I'd like Green Lantern to be in there, man.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You can come up with any weapon and any long range. You know, it would be a lot of long range. What do you call this?
That's true.
Fighting. I mean, I remember Kyle Rayner coming up with this really huge badass gun. You know, imagine that thing just like sniping enemies from. You know, he'd be totally overpowered.
I like
I
EJ's
would-
answer better.
I would use John Stewart Green Lantern instead of Kyle,
Oh yeah,
so that his
yeah. 'Cause he's a
construct.
marine.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
read the
that-
next question each.
Okay, for the next question, favorite cartoon show intros.
Robocop. Oh no, Robotech. Or both.
Robocop.
Hey, there was a Robocop cartoon.
Nice.
Oh, was there? Why? Okay, Lex. Why the Robotech intro? Let's get into the why.
Because it has fighter jets.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has a cool intro. You know, you see the VF, what do you call them?
SDF-1,
No, the
Oh,
variable
Veritech.
fighters,
Veritech
yeah.
Fighters.
Veritech
And
Fighters, right?
yeah,
Ta-da.
and yeah, stuff like that. It's
I
nice.
Alex,
love that intro though.
Favorite
That
Robotech
intro
villains,
was-
Lex?
Ah,
Invid
so good.
or Centrati?
Centrati.
All right, good, correct answer.
Yeah,
Correct
Centrati.
answer.
It's the only answer.
Breach
EJ.
Eye.
Centradi, man.
Fuck off.
EJ,
Centradi.
Favorite cartoon show intro each.
I just started
Care
saying
Bears.
it, man. Voltron.
Voltron. Which
The,
Voltron.
the original one, right?
Michael
There's
Boltzmann.
no one. Lion Force. No, it's what do you call this? That
Lions?
song from Hercules. What was that?
Oh god.
Is
Fucking
it the,
hell, what's the hell of that song?
The
The
original
I
Lions?
don't
one.
remember this song.
Yeah.
the Lions,
Yeah,
right?
the Lions. Lion
Okay.
Force. Lion Force. Definitely Lion Force.
Butch.
Yeah, that's one of the what do you call this? But there are some good ones, huh? I mean,
A lot of good ones.
Eh,
but yeah, go. You guys.
Butch.
I have to pick Cops. Do you guys know the show Cops? The cartoon Cops.
Bad boys, bad boys.
No, not that
I
one.
was gonna go there. What you gonna do?
No, the cartoon.
What you
I do
gonna
not
do?
remember the cartoon Cops. No, I do not.
Oh, okay. Watch
What?
the intro on
It was
YouTube.
a cartoon cops.
What? Oh my god. Anyway, you guys have to watch it. One of the best intros. It's so goddamn funky. And
Mm.
honorable mention to Orbots, just because I like the animation and the intro.
Mario Bots. Are you
What?
are you 100% sure you're not confusing Cops for Police Academy?
No, God no. God, no.
No. All right, mine's obvious. Thundercats because it was my first exposure to anime style art.
Oh God, yeah, yes.
It's a good song.
And
That would be my runner-up. Yeah, Voltron was one thing I watched a lot back then. But yeah, Thundercats. would be
Galaxy
like
Rangers too, man. Jesus.
right
Galaxy Ray
up there.
and the Silverhawks. Those were actually through Rankin Bass. They were art directed by Japanese animators. That's why they
Yes.
look so
Yep,
different
I know that.
compared to the shows.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right. Next question, Butch.
But
I'm sorry.
but no, I was just say like close runner up would be the He-Man intro.
All right. Yeah.
Well, that just brings a lot of nostalgia for me.
No. Butch.
Oh, this is probably for John. Carlos Hernandez asks, a Dark Centurions comic, yay or nay?
Everybody remembers Centurions, right?
Yay for me,
Was
absolutely,
it Power
Yeah.
Extreme?
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely, yay
Exactly.
or nay. You can imagine a world really terrorized by what do you call this? Terror guy.
Doctor
The terror.
and his cyborg companion
Like
hacker.
really cheesy, and I mean, with a name as cheesy as that, you just gotta go full bore, dark and grim
Hmm.
on it already, because like
Doc
the
Isis.
contrast, such a cheesy name of making it real.
Uh,
Um,
Definitely 100% yay. And it would be
oh
this
man, who
animated
would?
series. I I feel like we've already had this discussion, like a modern day Centurions with the modern uh, weaponry we have now. It would be kick ass.
That's true.
Oh
This is the
yeah.
sort of thing I would want Michael Bay on as opposed to Transformers, because this is his realm really. And I'm talking about the animated series, I know, but like just the idea of a modern day Centurions, I feel is a no brainer. Have The Rock in there with Mark Wahlberg for the
Who would
animated
Mike?
show.
Who would Mark Wahlberg? Mark Wahlberg would be the guy, the land guy.
No, maybe, sure. Jake
Yeah.
Rockwell,
Matthew McConaughey would be the dude on the sky.
that's true, or Tom Cruise, and
Oh my
then
god, that would be like
Oh,
so.
God.
The Rock would be Max Ray because he's already close to the ocean in Baywatch.
Imagine the Rock, the fucking mustache.
Wait, no,
And
no. He's asking for a comic book, right?
I,
Yeah, a dark comic. I'm just we
Oh,
just
okay.
ended
You're
up
just going
going
ahead. Okay,
for
sorry.
yeah, so
But
we're
yeah, but if
just
it were a
yay.
comic, who
Wait, if it's a
who
comic,
would draw
who would
this?
write and draw it?
Warren Ellis.
And Jim Lee.
Jim Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Does he draw
He
good?
does
Oh, he
some.
does.
He
Oh,
does draw good text.
all right. Let's say Sean Murphy. You're in. You're instantly in. Warren Ellis and Sean Murphy,
Did I make a
Centurions.
sound? I think I made a sound.
Yeah, yeah. You made a you made an MP3 worth.
Jerome Opeña.
Not bad. Not bad. I don't want him to get off Seven to Eternity though, so that's a no. Uh,
Seven to Eternity is like totally done at this point.
we're gonna skip Jan GP Henry Paqueo's question because this is a personal question. I love you so much,
Ooh.
buddy, but fuck you. uh, I'm gonna read the question
Semi-invisible guy.
from Marcos.
Semi-invisible guy. Although, if you've seen Mystery Men, there is something of a character there with
Yeah.
Sort
kind of
of.
invisible powers. Like only if people are not looking will he turn invisible.
Do,
Mhm.
Idiot.
do you guys know what's his fucking name? The Manslaughter, I think. He's a character from in Marvel Comics, and he's invisible as long as you don't look at him directly, or something like that.
Wow.
It's like Alex.
Really?
Alex has that power.
I do.
It's a dumbass power.
Next question.
From Mark Rosario. If you were hired by DC or Marvel or DC, to draw just one comic book or write, because EJ is around, write or draw just one comic, which title would it be and why? So let's turn this into a more solid question here. A great question, Mark. But let's say that Marvel or DC hires you. You've only got one chance to work for them. You will only be given one title to work on for your entire career. What would you like to do?
Can't say
Begin with
Hellboy.
Butch. Yeah,
Oh.
Oh,
you
darn.
can't say Dark Horse or Valiant. Apparently, it's just Marvel or DC. Butch
I would do X-Men because
and why?
well, number one, there's like 500 of them, so you'll never get tired, you'll never get bored.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in that shit, so that's my jam.
Which era?
You can do all of them, right?
Claremont.
All right, so just okay. Do you need to specify which team, or are you talking about the main X-Men team?
Oh, the yeah, Australia, Claremont. What do you call them? The team with
Excalibur?
Australia? Did you
Dazzler
say Australia?
and Longshot.
All right, two issues.
The fuck?
Butch, I mean Lex.
DC, I'll draw Batman.
Wow, quick answer.
hmm
Why?
Why?
Marvel,
Not bad.
No, you
because I
only get
like.
one publisher.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
god damn it,
Sige.
cheater.
Batman because I like.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I like drawing stuff with lots of black, so I don't need to work on the details.
Kinda looks like Hellboy.
Yeah, God.
That,
He can imagine it's Hellboy when it's still black and white.
yes, exactly.
EJ to write.
Inhumans.
Really?
Inhumans.
Wow.
Because I'll
Interesting.
write it into the ground, man, so that they can focus on X-Men finally. I'll be a sacrifice.
You will run
Sacrifice myself.
Inhumans to the ground on purpose?
On purpose.
How much lower can they go?
Wow.
I mean,
And I'll be the killing blow.
Oh,
Ruin my
man.
career. Fuck the Inhumans.
You know what's gonna be crazy is that when you do crazy enough stories with Inhumans, you accidentally revive them
Yeah.
Oh my god.
the way Claremont and Vern did. Easy answer.
I'll just
Mine.
come up with a script. I'll play with my kids and have them come up with a script, just like
Ah.
Axe Cop.
That'll work. My answer, easy answer, is Fantastic Four.
Of course.
Yeah. And do Superman.
How exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Serious answer, I'd do Superman.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. Unfortunately, Fantastic Four doesn't exist right now, so this question only brings me to tears.
They still do, but they're in the secret,
Did you read
negative world
Infamous?
thing.
What is that each?
Did you read Infamous na?
Infamous.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Not
Infamous
yet.
Iron Man.
Not yet.
Do it.
All right. Next question to be read by Alex.
Huh. It's my turn. It's a
Oh,
question from Chris Alcaraz. If you will have a week's stay on any popular fictional comic book location, planet, city, realm, where would it be and why?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. A week's stay in. Let me think. You go first.
Riverdale.
Knew it.
Dang it, damn it.
Really?
So
The
boring.
comic book Riverdale, not the TV show Riverdale. Just because it's so unstressful. Okay,
Actually,
because,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I've said this answer already before, so I'm just gonna say whatever the world is called in Bone, Jeff Smith's Bone.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. What about you guys?
Any
God.
pop or for a week?
My favorite book are situated in like such shit places.
Hell's
I know.
Kitchen,
Sin City.
dead in 2 days.
Oh no, I know. Aquaman.
Oh my good
You
lord.
would
New
die.
York.
You would die.
Ah.
Wait,
Look,
are you saying
wouldn't
Atlantis?
you wouldn't wanna stay in Atlantis? You know,
Fuck
be
no,
all decked
man.
in like aqua whatever and have a what do you call it, dude? That would be a really wild ride, man.
Yeah,
Like,
for a week.
Seriously, where do you wanna go?
You're still human.
In the world that's not messed up, man. I don't wanna go to Gotham. Fuck that.
Hell's Kitchen.
I don't want to definitely go to Hell's Kitchen.
Oh.
Man. New York, Marvel, New York. You know the country, the city that gets fucked up every year.
Oh, I know.
Forget it.
I know.
I got
Every
mine. Okay,
week.
you go first.
J. Scott Campbell era La Jolla, California.
That's not fair.
But that's my answer. Meet the Gen 13 kids.
La Jolla from what? Oh, Gen 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bastard. Okay.
Butch,
Obviously mine would be
Nice.
Astro City.
I like
And
it.
there was a really your life is gonna be in danger. That's for sure. But I think most of our answers, your life is gonna be in danger there anyway. But what's really cool is there was this the way they set it up is Astro City is always they have like obviously they have a high superhero population, meaning villains are always attacking the city. And what that means was like there was like a really famous story from before where this family moves to Astro City, and then they experience that firsthand, like a villain attacks, and then they like their first day, like there's a big like a big like a big event. So it's like a major villain, lots of heroes, a lot of damage, and so the guy's like he has kids and he's like thinking, oh shit, I should leave. It's first day, it can't be like this all the time, right? Blah blah blah. So he's about to leave, and then the next day he sees that like the what do you call like the damage control of Astro City, that organization, the whatever the cleanup crews,
Yeah.
they're like
Mm-hmm.
super insanely efficient, obviously because they're used to that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all the citizens of Astro City are like super helpful towards one another, and like whoever's house gets zapped by a stray blast, they pitch in, and everyone's so cooperative and happy and stuff. So I want to live there.
I like it.
Hmm.
Lex, you haven't given
Ah,
your answer yet.
Okay,
no,
since it's just gonna be a week's stay, so I'm probably be a tourist.
Oh, it's just a
Like,
week? Shit.
yeah, it is there. It's just a week.
Forget. I was gonna
I wanted to
I was like
live in
planning my
Astro City,
10th
man.
year, and
I'm
You'll
still
be there for a week
planning
of
the best
repairs.
Christmas
oh
life.
my lord, fuck, Sin City, Sin City, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Lex?
I'd say the
It was so easy.
what they
Oh,
call
what is Sin City?
the Green Lantern
Owa.
Central.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Why?
So because I want to see the space and aliens and stuff.
Not
I
Mogo?
want to see the space.
I want
I
to
can
see the
visit
space.
Mogo as well.
The space
I want to
Pabia.
visit the space.
But yeah,
Pabia.
space.
Alright, TJ.
Albert Orr. Has this been asked? That's the question.
No.
No, yes.
Maybe.
If you were to take on work for hire work on a Filipino comic book character or property, or a local TV or movie to be turned into a comic book, what would it be?
I have an answer for a TV show and for a movie.
Go for it.
I would love to. This is gonna be stupid. I would love to do a palibhasa lalaki comic book. Sex
Yeah,
comedy
that
comic
would
book.
be like a shit ton of fun. Yes, okay, I agree.
And
I
for
agree.
my movie comic, I would love to do an
Palibhasa
adaptation for Halimaw sa Banga.
We're
Because
talking about comic book, man.
that creeped me the fuck out. Oh, what did you say?
Comic book character or property.
That I would like to work on?
Yeah,
13.
Huh.
nice.
Suck up.
I would totally. I'd continue Darna, the one that Arnold Are and Jerry Elangilan shared a few years ago. I'd continue that shit. That would be so awesome.
Oh, the one where she's already like an older
Yes.
lady.
Yes.
Whatever happened to that? Like everybody liked that, right?
It was-
That was just a
no,
one-time
because
thing.
They just did it.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
it was a short story.
Oh,
They
man.
did on purpose. We just want to explore this, just this.
I thought it was a
That was
preview.
it.
I've
That's
been
all.
waiting.
And I don't think they don't have the rights to it or anything like that. They just wanted to have fun with
It
it.
was just a fan comic
Yeah,
God damn
it
it.
was a fan comic.
by really talented
it was
fans.
Brilliant.
Give him the rights.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to do any other fan property, turn it into a freaking comic.
Home Along
Other
Daryl.
way around. The other way around.
Mother.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
Aren't they doing a comic?
You know, a series of just a series of short what do you call this? Short stories, short horror stories. You know, every month. I think that would be cool.
I feel like Sina Mervin already doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
aren't they doing it? The
I think
shake,
so.
I don't
rattle,
know.
and
I
roll?
don't-
Licensed?
I
Like
don't-
official?
I don't know.
Really?
I think so, but I don't think it's a monthly thing. I think it's just a one OGN.
One time, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think
But
so.
I think Pinoy horror, yes, would lend very well to a lot. I mean, there have been a lot of Pinoy horror books actually through the years in the funny comics.
I agree.
There's a
Butch.
lot, yeah. There's a lot of Pinoy horror comics.
Butch. Mulawin?
Um, right. TV show to adapt into a comic book, probably Buddy and Soul, because it's a duo. Um, duh.
Damn, you and
And
your duels.
if I could be hired to work on a Filipino comic book property, it would be Kick Fighter. Do you guys know Kick Fighter?
I
Yes,
do
I know
not.
Kick Fighter.
It was like
Really
some
lame rip-off of Street Fighter.
or awesome. That was
Ugh.
really popular in the 90s, and it worked. And the people who worked on that are like some of my friends right now. um, so
Aw.
I wouldn't mind continuing that. That'd be fun.
They.
Oh
I like
Excellent.
doing a
now I
sequel
feel
anyway.
bad.
Kick
But yeah, it
toucher.
was. I mean, they know this. It was an outright rip-off
Yes.
of what do you call this of Street Fighter.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that would
A
be cool. So it'd
parody.
be, what would be your style? Would be like totally
Pastiche.
cheesy, comedy parody type thing.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Lex?
That might be fun. Yeah, that might be fun.
Yes.
On a Filipino comic book character, I'd like to work on Combatron
Oh,
if they can bring that back.
yes.
Yeah,
Who owns the
because
rights to
Dude,
that?
I used to read
robots and
that.
stuff.
I used to buy funny comics.
What about Filipino TV or film to be adapted into a comic?
I'd like a proper horror adaptation of Panday. It has great potential for
Horror?
a horror book. Oh, yes.
I think, yeah, there are some
Oh.
monsters in the.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. Would he look like Hellboy in your book?
Maybe.
I'm in.
Oh my god.
Hmm. Pan boy.
God.
Albert has
It's
a
pandesal. That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
Albert has a secondary question here, which is very interesting. Which
For
you.
Silverhawk is the most useless? I'll
None
let
of
you guys
them.
answer first.
Jesus.
I already know who it is. Do you guys have an answer for this?
I don't.
Bronze Kid.
What was that, Eej?
It's just the kid, man.
Copper
The
Kid?
Kid's useless.
Copper Kid.
Copper Kid's totally useless.
Hey
Can't even
guys,
talk.
come on. I'm
I'm
not
like,
totally
oh god,
useless.
dude. I mean, like, not once was I impressed with that kid. You know, it's like I feel he's on the team because they're being nice.
Do you think this might be slightly offensive. Do you think there's
You know what
something
you're gonna
off with
say?
him? Like,
On the spectrum.
yeah. He's not even
Oh,
silver.
speaking of on the spot, we'll get to that later, by the way. 'Cause, yeah, okay. Once we're done with the questions, on the
Okay.
spectrum, remind me about that.
All right.
Yeah, seriously, that was, oh god.
Do you agree, John? You
Each.
agree, John, right?
Everybody else
I
is
agree.
awesome.
100%. Well,
Then one day, I asked for a Silverhawks toy.
well,
King Copper Kid, I swear I broke it.
Really, you broke it right away.
No, it was like it didn't last long.
Okay.
Like even the toy was lame.
well,
Was
I have a question
was
for you
he
then.
Remember, you were
smaller?
too strong.
I have a question for you
Uh,
each, or for you guys. Do you consider
Hello.
Commander Stargazer a Silverhawk?
No,
I don't know who
no.
that is.
What?
No, he's not part
I
of them.
can't remember.
The bald
The
guy.
bald-
He's not the part of the
bald
team.
guy
He's
in
like,
charge.
He's their like what leader or whatever, but he's not part of their team.
Oh my
All right,
god, I
he's
had
a-
a toy of that
Maybe
guy.
he has
oh
a-
my god.
One of his body part is silver, and we just
He's
don't see it.
It's gold though.
He's basically an Uber dispatcher, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't consider him part of this.
All right, so the most useless is definitely Copper Kid,
Yes.
100%. Butch, you read the
I
next
mean,
question.
look,
please.
Yes Man even had a better episode at one point. He did that whole limbo thing. You know, he did the transformation that Monstar does. So that was insane.
All right.
Fucking Tallyhawk is more useful than Copper Kid.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
Next question is from Andy Blodig.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Andy.
With relevance to the superhero prom date, which good guy comic book hero would most likely give you a swirly and why?
Mm-hmm.
Me first.
For anybody unfamiliar or for anybody who was never bullied, a swirly is basically when somebody or a group of assholes dunks your head into a toilet as it's being flushed. Correct?
Yes.
That's right, right?
Mm,
That's what that
I
is?
think so.
I
Yes.
guess.
Maybe.
That's
Okay.
Alright.
right.
Go on, Butch. Who
My
do you
answer
think?
is Guy Gardner because he's kind of
Oh yeah.
an asshole.
Oh yeah.
But he's not bigger than you. You were a tall kid.
He has a fucking power ring.
Alright. Alright. Okay. That's fair.
Obvious answer.
Yeah.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
That guy might be smaller than EJ.
Mm-hmm. And why though? It says and why.
Okay.
That's your answer because he has a power
But
ring.
the dude is always losing his temper. He'd probably do it to Tim.
That's
Tim Drake.
Mm-hmm.
about you guys?
My answer would be strong guy.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's
That
true.
would be easy.
That would be true.
Why? Probably because I'm not exactly. I'm a bit of an asshole too, so I would probably be
Say
making.
the wrong. I was just about to say kindly that you'd probably say the wrong thing.
No, I would probably be making fun of his accent all the time, or the
And
fact that
he'd
his.
pick you up with one hand.
Or his
and
hair.
Don't it doesn't it would be even really quick, don't psh, and then it's
Yeah.
like 3 seconds and it's done.
But then he'd take
Yeah.
a shit
Absolutely.
while you're still in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd hold John like with one hand, and John is just up in the air, is taking a dump. John can't move because he's just in the grip.
Lex,
Hmm.
which good guy comic book
Hmm.
hero would do it to you?
I can't think of anyone.
Say
Wow.
Hellboy again.
Fucking bully over here.
I know.
Maybe.
Lilandra?
Whoa. Dark
Huh?
side.
Yeah, if
Dark
there was
side,
a
no.
female,
Heads again.
if
That's
there
your
was a female superhero that would do it.
I'm
Who
not
would that
sure. I've.
Hellboy.
Yeah, not.
Would always be
Who would you
so
bully,
pissed
Alex?
all the time.
Yeah.
always
Who would
be-
you bully, Lex?
I would bully John.
Oh, strong guy. Oh, Bob you.
Flush.
All right, that makes sense.
flush.
I do have a very long and extensive history of making fun of people who are actually physically superior to me. And look where it got me, guys. Look where it got me. Is that your serious answer, Lex? You would bully me. God damn it.
He's not taking it back.
Mhm. Lex, question. You read the next question.
This is from Wilson de la Fuente. What is
I
your
love
favorite?
this question.
Yeah, what is your favorite single issue of any series and why? I'll go first.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry.
Wow.
That means he's afraid someone's
it's-
gonna take it.
It's my favorite because it's actually it's a personal comic and it's one of the
Oh.
earlier comic books I've owned. It's I think
Barbie
Spawn
Summer Special 91.
Spawn number 72 or 74. That issue
Nice.
where he first met Cygor. Art by Greg Capullo, inks by Danny Mickey.
72? That far?
Or 74.
I'm not sure if it's 72 or 74 along those lines.
Some
I
favorite.
feel like, whoa, was Capullo on Spawn that long?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember,
Two
but
years.
it's
That's on
that
Spawn past
issue
100.
where he met Cygor. The
It
art,
is.
May have that.
yeah, the art. It has a white cover. It shows Spawn with his third costume, fighting Cygor, and it has wonderful art
Wonderful.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
only like it
Yes.
because it's meaningful.
because
Um,
it's meaningful and it kind of opened me into like
Ooh.
exploring more comics.
It opened you.
Story wise,
Oh, wow.
I can mention a few, but that's the first thing that comes.
Wow.
Like my favorite
I mean, I
single
like it.
issue. Yeah.
I like. It's 57.
Sorry, yeah, it is a 7 somewhere, so 57.
Oh, Jesus. It turns out it's just issue 7. Butch.
Favorite single issue is actually it's kind of corny because of my answer earlier, but it's Astro City number one half. Have you guys heard of
Fucking,
this story?
fucking Astro City
Nope.
fiend over here.
I know,
Fucking,
I'm
fucking
sorry.
name.
All right, so anyway, this Astro City deals with comic book tropes and stuff, and usually they put like a little twist on it. So in
Mhm.
this story, there's like this regular guy, and he's single and living alone in his apartment, and he's having like flashbacks about this girl, but he can't
Hmm.
figure out who the girl is, right? And over the course of whatever the story, he starts communicating with like one of the more powerful Astro City characters, the Hangman, who's like super mysterious, and the Hangman eventually communicates to him that there was like a giant cosmic battle, a cosmic entity who attacked the city. There was a big battle. It was like Crisis on Astro City, and because of the resolution of that story was there was a big retcon, right? We all know what happens with retcons, right? And in this retcon, his wife, or maybe his girlfriend, probably his wife, got caught in the retcon wave, and she
Oh
got
shit.
zipped out of existence, right? And so that's it. He's still dreaming about his wife, who is not even dead. She was never she never existed.
Fuck.
I know. And
Oh shit.
exactly. So yeah, that's called the nearness of you. That's Astro City one half.
Oh, it's so emotional.
I know.
Something else that's emotional is EJ's answer for this question.
Better be good.
Fantastic Four 587, but not because uh, of anything that the whole team does. This is actually a short at the end of this issue. Johnny Storm has just died. Franklin Richards is at the top of the Baxter Building, sad as shit, and Spider-Man swings by to talk to him, and they share this really memorable moment of um, feelings, a whole lot of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Parker shares how what happened when his uncle died. Um, Franklin shares he feels bad that his uncle Johnny died. He feels bad because he feels that maybe he could have stopped it, and he didn't try or he didn't. And Peter said, "Oh, hey, you want to know a secret? Sure. I definitely know I could have stopped my uncle from dying." And it's like,
Dude.
oh, why? Right? So it's like like it's just all of the sharing and all of this. What do you call this? It was a really touching. What do you call this episode? I
Mm-hmm.
come back to it every now and then because it's very. It has a way of uh centering you. You know, it's one of those stories that it's very grounded. It's very human. Uh, and at the time, Peter Parker was broke, so he even asked Franklin to pay for the hot dogs that they got when they were hanging
Aww.
out. So yeah, so there, it's a really nice short story, and I always remember it.
Yeah, and that's also that same issue was very emotional for me because, as you guys know, and as all the listeners probably already know at this point, Fantastic Four is my book. And
Oh,
even though I'm not
really?
the biggest, and even though I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, that issue had the feels, man. It brought the feels.
Touched
Very
you on your feel
hard
spot.
feels, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have cried the first time I read it.
You ruined your book.
One of the few
Not in
times I
mid
actually
condition.
Yeah.
freaking cried reading a comic book.
My favorite single issue is actually from Transmet, but I don't recall the issue number, so I'm gonna say my second favorite. It is Hitman number.
74.
No,
74 or
must be a
77.
Either of those.
Hitman number 34. For those of you unfamiliar with Hitman, he's a DC character who is actually an assassin. He has no special abilities
Who
except
would have
for
thought?
very minor telepathy. That's it. That's all he can do. Um, so Tommy Monahan, the hitman, is on a Gotham rooftop where he encounters Superman, who is apparently feeling sad and melancholy. And Tommy approaches him and talks to him and finds out that Superman just saved some astronauts from a burning space station or a crashing space station, but could not save one in the crew. And Superman, being Superman, he feels really guilty and feels really bad. But Tommy cheers him up. He says that when he came to America, he first came to New York, and that New York to him represents you mixing in with society, mixing in with the world, and leaving all your sadness and your baggage behind. And essentially, in so many words that I'm not gonna reiterate here, he cheers Superman up, and he actually Superman thanks him and actually signs something for Tommy, like as a symbol of their new friendship now. And then
Jesus.
Superman flies off. And then in the last
And
two
then
pages of the book, Tommy sets up his sniper rifle to shoot a mob boss in the adjacent building. So it's got that weird dichotomy of even bastards like Tommy Monahan can have a real heart in them that can cheer up the real hero. So I actually
that's
really dug this
awesome. I'd
issue.
read this.
Yeah, you'd love it.
I'll read
It's a
this.
standalone story that has no connection to the rest of the series. You'd like it a lot.
I'd read this. Cool. Yeah.
That's Hitman number
Nice.
34. The next
Nice.
question, Butch. Oh, actually, would you like to read this
Next question
from
is
Ronald?
from Ronald Gary Bengil Bautista. Who is your most hated Filipino comic book character?
How do we
Most
answer this without
hated.
making enemies, guys?
Oh, I'll make an enemy.
Hated.
You will? You will make.
No, I won't make an
Is
enemy.
anyone dead? Is
Wow.
anyone dead already?
No,
Or
no.
did he create anything?
I'll start. Mine is Captain
Mhm.
Marvel.
Uh,
Captain Marvel because I hate his name. That's it.
That's
No
fair. That's
enemies.
fair.
I hate that name so much. I swear to God.
Well, by that same vein, I would like this character if only his name was not Lastic Man.
Mr. Elastic Man.
Why? What's wrong with
Yeah.
Plastic Man?
It's
Oh, right.
obviously just
Yeah,
plastic,
I
man.
know.
What you other guys?
No enemies made, John. High
um,
five.
Up, up.
yeah, just because of the name. You know what? It was actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it, but man, the name it's just too punny. We have this thing here where just everything is just becomes a pun.
Hmm.
Gagam
It's more fun in the
boy.
Philippines.
Gagang boy.
Gagam boy, dude. Come on. But really fun movie.
Was it? I
That was
never
a
saw it.
fun movie.
No, never saw it
Surprisingly.
either.
I mean, cheesy in that way that some Pinoy films are bound to be, but it just caught me by surprise.
Lex,
But that name, oh god, that
Um,
name.
Batang X.
hey, I like Batang X.
So
I
that's
was,
not
I
your
was, I
answer then.
was, yeah, I was gonna say Elastic Man, but you've already mentioned it. So
That's okay.
Bio
That's fine.
kids.
yeah,
Actually,
I
I don't.
hated
Yeah,
the execution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the name.
somebody that I swear, man. I mean, you have one character that stretches already in Plastic Man, and you've got Ralph Dibny. I'm like, we don't need anymore. We don't need that power in the world.
Who
Mm-hmm.
played who was the actor who played him in the movie?
Big Soto?
Elastic Man.
Um,
Vic
Vic
Soto.
Soto.
Yeah.
Vic
yeah,
Soto.
there was Vic Soto, and then there was another one played by younger
What?
There were
actors.
two.
Yeah, there was another one.
Wow.
Wow. Academy
Yes.
Award nominee Vic Soto. Police Academy Award.
Oh, I forgot.
Uh,
Who's the other guy?
and
I
for
forgot.
our last question to the night from,
Last question.
yeah, man, from Bard. That's his name. This is Butch's friend, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. All I want to know about comics is, can we go back printing on newsprint or cheaper paper? Am I the only one who thinks maybe it can save the industry? Haha, I don't need the quality paper, really. Maybe just have the fine paper in trades. I just want the 2D version if it means it's cheaper. There. It's been 10 years since I regularly bought an issue. I just can't wait. I just can't with those prices. I don't know why
I'm
they aren't
okay.
thinking about getting it back for the masses again. They can if it's like before. I don't know, just what I think could the industry be popular again. So in so many words, he's asking, do you guys want cheaper paper for the comics? Do you think
They
it can
can do
save the
both.
industry?
They can what do you call it? I mean, the thing is, sourcing materials and actually making this stuff may not actually be as expensive as we think, but it's the profits that they try to make, the patong that they have on each
Yeah.
actual, what do you call this, issue. I mean, that's where it is. It's the brand that you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at the same time, would the paper be able to hold the level of art that is expected of comic books now? I mean, we may end up having some really faded prints, and for as a sacrifice to some of this. I mean, I don't. It might be more expensive to make comics with the cheaper art, and because I mean, there are a lot of fans that won't even sacrifice the quality comics that they're getting,
Mm-hmm.
right? But maybe there is a potential to create a second print that is, made up of this paper. So maybe there is that option for it. I just don't know how much money you actually save
Hmm.
doing that.
That's true.
Because I mean, printing like a ton of this makes things really cheap already, and I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem just is a lot of people aren't buying that many comics anymore, but at the same time, the cost of paying artists and writers has gone up exponentially, especially for DC and Marvel. And you gotta pay the superstars,
That's true.
and if you want the superstars, you gotta pay them, and they gotta find a way to make their own money. Um, I'm really not sure if the paper has anything to do with it.
But Butch?
Um, for me, I okay. For personally, I wouldn't mind newsprint comics, especially if it leads to lower prices. I kind of like
Yep.
the the smell and the feel of older style matte textured paper instead of
Yeah.
over the glossy paper that most comics are printed on these days. Um, my thing is though, like I don't, yeah, like what he just said. I don't know how much you're actually gonna save. Um, the they used to say that the reason why um, um, Marvel and DC, I think, gravitated towards moved towards the glossy paper in the 90s was because newsprint paper, the cost of newsprint paper was escalating back then. So I don't know if that's settled down since then, and maybe we're just used to it. But anyway, it doesn't take much to print a comic. The majority of the cost really is shipping and handling, which is diamond distributions. That's like half the comic, I think. And then
The talents.
not really. The next highest is the comic book retailer,
Hmm.
and like you're not gonna get rid of that guy.
Sure.
Diamond maybe, but it's gonna be a hard fight. They have obviously everybody knows they have a monopoly on comic book distribution.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to address those things to 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 really lower the prices. And but I do think that if you lower prices, that would lead to more people buying comics or trying comics out. I think. I don't know if it'll be like it was before when that was one of the main media that people used to take in their entertainment with the internet and YouTube and TV and all that stuff. But that would lower prices and you'd have more people for sure. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Lex?
Um, well, personally, I buy comics because of the art. If they switch to newsprint, the the art quality will greatly suffer,
Hmm.
and that might not make me buy comics. So unless it's like in manga, it's black and white, or if the color palette is limited, like um, what was it?
Hawkeye.
A Hawkeye. There was Vertigo released a newsprint trade, which Northlanders. I have
Yes.
that in newsprint. Punk Rock Jesus is in newsprint.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so those kind of art styles doesn't require glossy paper because it doesn't really you don't lose too much detail compared to
Yeah.
your regular comics wherein there are too much gradients in coloring. So it actually depends on the art and the quality that the publisher would want to retain when they publish their books. And since it's a visual medium, if it doesn't look that good, I doubt it would, uh, create sales. So that's my take.
Tying into what EJ said earlier, the reality of the situation is that the production of comics, it's not just art and colors and writing. Really, it's all printing and stuff. And the tools that we use to make comics, they're not getting any cheaper either. The superstars, not begrudging any superstars who make their money. This is your
That's okay.
craft, and you're good at it. But like, this industry is defined by its superstars, really. They're artists. So I feel like the paper is not necessarily the culprit here when it comes to price. If you make it newsprint, but maintain the art quality, maintain the writing, maintain the color quality, it's not gonna be much cheaper. Butch is right, and sad. That's just where we are now. That's just the way things are
Yeah. I'm right.
yeah,
That's the way things are.
with diamond being what it is, the open market being so limited. I mean, you used to be able to find comics monthly in drugstores, and that's just not how it is anymore. So, of course, things are more expensive now because comics are more exclusive. The key factor really is to make comics more accessible. That's all it is. Digital didn't fix that because the comic shops still exist. So the digital retailers need to be respectful of the mom and
Yeah.
pop stores, so they need to maintain their prices. Otherwise, the
Right.
mom and pop stores will riot. So it's
Yep.
not the paper; it's the production and the distribution. That's all it is. So
Comics are
anybody?
expensive.
That's it. That's all. That's all it is. And anybody want to add to this, pa? Yeah. In closing, Butch was right.
Thanks.
Thanks everybody for your very
Yes.
insightful and wise questions. Thank you, Alex, Butch, and EJ for
No, thank
joining me
you.
this fine evening. No,
Thank you,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Uh,
Well,
No,
thank
thank
you.
you.
if you guys want to catch more Trash Comic Heroes, we will be back next week with a regular episode where we talk about the next upcoming releases. But if you want to hear who we would like to take to prom, go to last episode where Butch has some very insightful and respectful answers. Not in any way shallow, not at all.
Hmm.
Uh, thanks, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you for
Bye.
the questions.
Yeah, you guys, bring more questions next time.
Oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
a
Wow.
challenge.
More questions next time.
Whoa,